Where are we?
Here, Grandpa. Here's nice and it's a bike just like you used to ride.
Oh.
Except this one's nice and safe for you.
When did I ride a bike?
Oh, back in the day. This is gonna be just the same.
Oh, okay.
Oh, hop on.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, see, nice and safe, big comfy
Wow.
seat for you, Grandpa.
Excellent. This is amazing. How do I work
Oh,
this?
so this is the throttle.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I just.
Grandpa! Wait!
Jesus Christ! Where's the eject button?
Go to the
Where
throttle!
are the Nazis? Oh my God! I'm coming for you, you Hitler bastard!
Grandpa!
Oh my God! I'm out of control! Oh Jesus!
Grandpa! All right, so I'm so excited today. We've got our first E-Trike. Man, I've been waiting for an E-Trike for so long. Ethan, what's the matter?
Oh my goodness, this thing is dangerous.
No. It's an E-Trike. So basically the thing is it has 3 wheels, which is gonna make it more stable than a regular bike because a regular bike can't stand up. Look, see, you're standing.
Right, but.
And I was like, we need an E-Trike because, you know, for people who are getting on an age and can't ride a regular bike anymore safely, an E-Trike is gonna be an awesome option.
No, I don't think so.
What is the matter with you?
This is more dangerous than a normal bike.
No way.
It is. You just turn the wheel and you basically just fall over.
You're trying too hard. Let me give it a shot.
Go for it.
This is great. Isn't this is really nice. Yeah. No, this is really comfortable. And holy the was that?
I know. That's what I'm saying.
Let me just get up to like a speed that I would travel at. And then was my wheel up?
Yeah.
What?
Yep.
Jesus.
You really want to put your old grandpappy on that thing?
More testing is needed.
Yeah.
Okay, you know what? I think I just haven't been leaning correctly.
Okay, so try and lean in towards the inside of the turn.
To the turn. This feels really weird. That's a little better. This is really scary.
Yeah, I'm still
Because
watching that
normally with a
inside.
bike, the bike's under you, and now it feels like it's falling out from under me.
I'm watching that inside tire just skipping off the ground.
Really?
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm not going that fast. I haven't gone past like 6 miles an hour. Jesus. I don't like that.
No, not a fan.
All right, so Ethan, this is
Oh, geez. Oh my God.
this thing's a little dangerous, huh?
Yeah, so I'm not kidding when I say that I think this is more dangerous than a bike.
I just ran over my foot. Jesus, that hurt.
It didn't look that fun.
Okay, so Ethan, I think the first thing is pretty obvious. The center of gravity is really high.
That is a very tall seat.
Forget the seat for a second. Look at the platform where your feet are supposed to rest. If you were resting your feet, it's up higher than you'd normally sit on a regular bike.
Yeah, definitely.
So, but on a regular bike, you would also lean into the turns. Mm-hmm. This cannot lean into turns.
No, this prevents you from leaning into the turn. So you have to actively lean against the bike.
So like if I'm going, I have to be leaning into the turn. The bike wants to be doing this. Mm-hmm. Then, I mean, if the bike is gonna go, I feel like I could like jump off, but then the bike is gonna run straight in front of me, and I'm gonna really eat it.
There's no good, safe way to dismount this thing.
I mean, it's fine when it's moving really slowly.
But other than maneuvering in your driveway, where are you gonna be doing that, right? Like you're gonna be going at speed.
So the minimum speed, pedal assist 1, gets me up to 7.5 miles an hour.
Which is like a third of your top speed, right? Like
yeah, and it's tippy, very tippy at that speed. From the testing we've done, you want like 4 miles an hour. That's where you're not gonna tip on a medium turn.
you just want to be able to get going with pedal assist 1.
Right, but then you get going, I would argue, a little bit too fast. So I don't like that.
Now, is the throttle any better? Can you creep nice and slow with the throttle?
So I mean, I can control it pretty well. I'm very used to twist throttles nowadays. So like this feels comfortable. This is about 5 or 6 miles an hour. And obviously this is a bit uneven terrain, but like this feels comfortable. I mean, it feels like I'm falling to the outside at 5 miles an hour.
Right, which isn't something you run into with a bike, because on a bike you're leaning into the turn.
Right.
The centrifugal force is kind of keeping you upright.
Whoop. So wait, I was on 2 wheels?
Yeah, you're
I can't feel it when I'm on 2 wheels. I don't actually know. It just, because the bike has so much flex and lean to it already, that when I start to go up on 2 wheels, I can't really tell unless I look down.
Right.
And then I get freaked out.
Or until you're falling too much to the outside and then you're on the ground.
Another thing to consider though is that if you're on like slightly unlevel ground, it feels really bad. Because basically if you have bad camber of the road, meaning that the road is sloping away from your turn, you're gonna fall over.
Yeah.
Like it makes it significantly worse. With a bike, you could just lean in. With this, you can't.
You can ride a bike along the side of a hill because you could stay level as leaning into the hill. Whereas on this
is gonna be,
it's gonna fall over.
Right. Okay, but Ethan, I think I have an idea and it involves this basket. I'll be right back.
12 seconds later.
Haha, I think I've solved it.
All right, I don't understand though. It looks the same. What did we?
It does look the same. That's because
do?
I put 55 pounds of barbells in the back.
Okay.
So I have lowered the center of gravity. Take it for a spin.
Okay.
See if you can flip it now.
All right. Should I try to, or should I just ride it like I was like an old person?
Just ride it.
Okay. We'll see. Okay, it's more stable. It's still not perfect. It is significantly harder though for the tire to come up off the ground than it was before all this weight was in the back. I guess now the problem is, well, it's better, but I guess now the problem is the bike is 55 pounds heavier. You're gonna get that much less range and all the other fun stuff that comes with that. But I guess as a pretty simple solution, just putting some heavy stuff in the basket is not a terrible way to kind of level it out.
All right, so Ethan, if the center of gravity is the problem, I think I have a solution.
Okay, lowering the seat. All right, that'll work. Oh, getting rid of the seat. Uh-oh, oh no, okay. Wait a second.
Huh?
Oh my God, you have made a chopper.
It's not comfortable. I'm trying to get as low as I can. It's better. Going like 8.
Oh my God. So,
my butt's already sore.
So it seems like there's no easy solution to the tippiness of this thing. Aside from the constant fear that you're gonna crash and high side and fly off this thing, the ride comfort is pretty good if you're not pedaling. If you're pedaling, like, I don't know, I'm like literally getting just rocked side to side just because of the way the bike is set up. All right, take this thing over a big bump. Oh God. Obviously with the big fat tires, you would think this would be a pretty capable off-road machine. If you're riding this on the side of the road like I am, you just take up so much space. Like, I'm trying to keep my right tire as close to the edge of the road as I can. Like if there's a car trying to pass me and there's another car coming the other direction, one of them is gonna have to slam on their brakes because there's no way that both of them are gonna be able to safely get by me at the same time. Bike paths are even more narrow. This thing will take up like 1/3 of the entire width of a bike path. But I'm not who this thing is meant for. If you look at their website, you'll see reviews with like old people riding this and they're like, oh my God, it's so stable. And I'm like, it's not stable. Don't lie to yourself.
Can we just talk about the elephant in the room?
Is this whole thing not the elephant in the room?
Well, look, this is an e-bike frame for a fat tire e-bike. There's enough room right here to fit a fat tire.
Yes, there is.
And if you flip it over, you'll see there was supposed to be a fat tire right in the middle, right here.
Okay.
And all they've done is bolted on this structure to it. So this was never designed to be a trike.
Is that not just a clever way to make a trike though? Like, doesn't it just make sense to use an already existing platform for something like this?
It could if you didn't make the world's scariest trike.
Okay.
It's just so, it's either too narrow or too high. And I think it's both.
That's fair. So you think widening the wheelbase for the back wheels would be a way to solve this problem?
You've either got to slow it way down, you've got to widen it, and you've got to lower the center of gravity.
Okay.
All three of those things, I mean, we're talking more of a recumbent bicycle at that point. That's going to be a lot safer.
Okay.
Especially if you can put the 2 wheels in the front.
So I think the biggest reason that this is unstable is just because the fact that the 2 wheels are in the back instead of in the front. When you're making a turn, all the weight wants to go to the outside and the front, and there's no outside front wheel on a trike. There's outside back wheels, but there's a gap here where all the weight wants to go.
I mean, I think that there's a reason why the Reliant Robin is such a meme. You know, like that was a 3-wheeled car and it would just easily flip over. This is the exact same thing. It's fine to have a tricycle, but when do you see tricycles?
For children?
Little tiny kids. And what's the gear ratio? Really low. They can't go fast on a tricycle.
And think about the seat is also basically on the ground for a kid's trike.
Some of them, but other ones, you know, are just not going fast enough to be able to tip over. This is too fast, too high, and too narrow. And we're adding a ton of flex by not having the supports come out to the wheel. And that makes the whole thing a little bit more tippy. And I think there's one other thing, and it's this angle of the front fork. See how it's leaned back?
You think the rake is too much?
That is supposed to help on a leaning bike. That's supposed to help you rebalance and get the tire facing forward.
Yeah.
But the problem is, when you're sitting on this, is that the lean happens the wrong way. So when I turn this way, so it wants to unturn me.
Okay.
And so you're constantly battling that, and it feels completely opposite to a regular bike because it is.
So now we were thinking maybe this is for old people because they don't have the balance they used to, and maybe it would be more stable. And obviously,
which it's not.
Yeah, which it's obviously not. We've discovered that. So my thought now is maybe because it has this huge like cargo bin in the back, maybe this is for like delivery people. Maybe this is for, you know, delivering food around a city or something.
Well, like Postmates or Uber Eats?
I don't know. What do you think? Like it could work. No?
There's already so many great cargo e-bikes out there.
Okay.
And for what you're paying for this, I think that you could get a decent leaning cargo e-bike because you can't go fast on this thing.
Yeah.
You'll die.
Yeah.
And you have to factor in your own life at some point.
Listen, you got to make those deliveries. You got to
make those deliveries, and you got to be quick. And I think that a leaning cargo e-bike would be better. Heck, I even think just a regular e-bike with a rack on the back would be better than this. Okay, but Ethan, maybe we just are so used to riding regular bikes that we're just not used to riding a trike, and that you just have to relearn how to ride a bike in order to ride this thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think that is doable. I think if you spent enough time with this and you kind of just got used to how it turned and the way it kind of wants to lean in to the turn, the opposite way of where you want to be leaning it, I think if you really learned it and you figured it out, you could ride this. I don't think that people with bad or questionable balance could learn to ride this very easily, or maybe even at all. But I think if you're used to riding bikes, you kind of know what you're doing, you could put in the time and learn how to ride this effectively.
You're talking about someone in their 20s or 30s. Though.
Yeah, I think.
You're talking about someone who failure is a little bit of an option. Someone in their 80s. No. I wouldn't put them on this. I wouldn't say 70s, unless you're extraordinarily fit, in which case you're probably riding an e-bike anyway.
Right.
There's no room for error. If you screw up and you fall and you get hurt, that could be it.
Here's the other thing about this compared to an e-bike or any bike. If you fall on a regular bike, the bike's gonna land on top of you. It might hurt a little bit, but you can just push it off. With this, if this falls on top of you, you can get your leg caught in between the tire and the frame of the bike. You could get all twisted up and banged up and then have a really hard time pushing this off
and getting out. I want to reiterate how gung-ho I was about this thing when we first got it. I really thought that this was going to be the solution for people who used to be good at bike riding. It's too dangerous for them now, and this was going to be the silver bullet solution that was going to solve the problem. It's not the solution. I want to try out more e-trikes because I think that with some design changes, this style can work. But yeah, I'm really discouraged. I really thought that this was going to be it, and it's totally the opposite.
All right, so here we are with the Addmotor M340, and quite obviously, this is different from most of the things we review because this is a trike. Now, even though it's a trike, it's still got mostly the same specs as a bike would. It's just got an additional wheel in the back, so things are a little bit different. Powering this trike is a 750 watt Bafang hub motor on the front wheel here. It has a good amount of torque and power, to be honest. Every time I give this thing full throttle, the front tire will just do a burnout at low speed. Giving power to that motor is this 48 volt, 17.5 amp hour lithium ion battery that gives this trike a claimed range of 55 plus miles. That is ridiculous. That is one of the longest ranges of anything we've tested, if not the longest range of anything we've tested, if it's actually got that range. Very simple backlit display, easy to read in bright light. You've got 5 levels of cadence sensing pedal assist, got your actual motor output there. Trip distance, you can show odometer as well. Speed, battery level, very simple, nice and easy. I like this display. Onto the handlebars, we have mechanical disc brakes on the front and back wheels. And the rotors on the front and back wheels are the same. They're all 180 millimeter rotors. This monstrous tank of a machine has a max rider weight of 350 pounds, plus 100 additional pounds of cargo because this has a front basket and this enormous trunk. Fenders over all three wheels, pretty typical, do a good job of blocking stuff. Has a headlight in the front and a brake light in the rear that actually lights up when you squeeze the brakes, so that's good. Sometimes they're just always on. I prefer when they light up when you squeeze the brake. Over here we have our half twist throttle, and it also has a switch here, like a cutoff switch. So if I press this button, which I just did, now the throttle doesn't work. If I press it again, now the throttle works. 7-speed Shimano shifter, very standard for e-bikes. The backrest is height adjustable, so you just have to loosen this, and you can slide this up and down wherever you want it. Pretty cool. Makes it a lot more comfortable. For front suspension, we have an oil spring front fork, has 80 millimeters of travel. It comes with 2 keys. When the bike is on, you can't remove the key. I don't like that. I know it's a safety measure, but I like when you can turn the bike on and then remove the key. Battery itself has a power meter on top. You can see what level you're at. Unfortunately, to remove the battery, you have to take the seat off. Reinstalling it, same thing, you have to have the seat off. It slides onto this rail here. Kind of an annoying oversight. There is a USB port right here underneath the screen. Your regular USB, not USB-C. So you can charge your phone or whatever else you need charged. Kind of nice. So the battery weighs 9.5 pounds and the shipping weight as a whole is 140 pounds. I couldn't find on their website what the actual bike weight itself is. If you can find it, by all means, throw it in the comments, let me know what I missed. Tires on this are quite large. It has a 24 by 4 inch Kenda tire on the front. On the rear, it has 2 20 by 4 inch tires. So smaller tires in the rear than in the front, but both sets of tires have the same width. Oh boy. Oh God, this is terrifying. So I've reached a top speed of 20 miles an hour, and I can say with certainty that this is one of the sketchiest things I've ever ridden at this speed. If you even twitch the handlebars to the side, this thing is just gonna roll over. Now, I don't know if that's actually the fault of Addmotor and this particular trike, or if that's just how trikes are in general. Believe it or not, I'm not really a trike guy. I know that might be hard to believe. The motor is very loud. I hope you can hear anything I'm saying. It's extremely windy. Let's try making this turn. Oh my God, you have to turn so slowly. Otherwise, you'll just roll it. Very, very low points for stability. Pedal assist takes a while to kick in, but once it does kick in, it just completely takes over. Like, I'm not pedaling at all right now. The motor's doing all the work. Well, I'm pretending to pedal, but the motor's doing all the work. I'm gonna test these brakes. Now, I think if there's one point where this trike is probably gonna do really well, it's braking, because it has 3 tires on the ground with brakes on all 3. So 20 miles an hour and brakes. Yeah, they do pretty well. So now after riding it for a little bit, it's not as bad as I initially thought it was, but I've also learned to control it better. We may be a bit harsh on this during this video, and yes, we're being goofy with, the intro and everything and talking about all this, but like, in all seriousness, I don't know that I would actually feel comfortable giving this to an elderly person. I would say just be cautious before you do that. Make sure they understand that this is an issue that this thing has before you just put them on it and say, all right, go have fun, Gramps.